And now CLG will just be on one of these transition rounds. Them themselves will be onto the P250s. As Luminosity are starting to settle in, and I like where their head's at when it comes to executions like that.
Showtime. He's going to be able to pick up the kill on FNS early on here. And the rest of CLG sits spread out very aggressively, though, positioned across the map, especially over here towards T-Con, where they have multiple players really right up in the face of this angle here. If in the event Luminosity tries to push out, Luminosity look into different options, though, because of that. They're going to spread their players out. You know, they got quite a few guys hanging out over here towards, like, Whitehalls and whatnot. So they're going to slow things down a little bit, look for options elsewhere on the map, and this will let CLG get more comfortable. And we can see this Ricky pushing all the way inside of the T-Con. He'll hold this aggressive position. And so Showtime's going to have a little bit of work to do if he swings out here. I'm sure they're going to check that corner, and there we go. Down's going to go Ricky. Kusta follows it up with his own death, and Ethan, while he will catch a trade, that's going to be the only thing that he catches here. As he's dead after that. Showtime will even mop it up afterwards. He ends up with a nice, clean 4K, leading the charge for Luminosity there on that round.
Well, here come the guns from CLG. They could go into the double op, but instead it is just going to be Ricky taking it into his own hands. He does have a better spawn than Kusta, although Kusta could have afforded it. It is going to go into Ricky's grasp. And we'll see where he's going to go. Again, I mentioned he has the spawn for Z. That's looking like that's the case. So he will post up early, as Luminosity will continue to play his default. I mentioned before this map started, I love Luminosity's defaults. I'm a big fan of SKs, and Luminosity have something very similar. A lot of teams go for these kind of safe defaults, but I really like Luminosity's. They know when to aggress. They have a player holding passive B, 2 players top ladder. They don't overextend, and their teamwork is just sometimes it's extraordinary when it's on point.
And so now here, Cello. He's going to end up going back up through ladder after they took that control. This is only really to deploy utility, though. CLG need to actually rotate that second player on B towards the outer bomb site right now, and they haven't done that, which means they're going to be very weak on the defense for this A site. However, they're doing some decent damage on the way in. You can see both Showtime and Neck is getting hit pretty heavily here. PKL's going to wrap around. Kusta does get the first kill, but PKL will trade it out, and now they wrap around. Kusta's got nowhere to run. He's stuck in that corner, and PKL picks up a second one now. That clears out the site for the most part. They still have some of these players hiding out in the extremities, but they should be clear to plant now, at least, and then try to hold this 4v3 in the post plant.
This is an instant save call from CLG. Even if Cutler finds a frag, I don't see them committing. I just don't see it becoming a reality here. And yeah, Ethan may try to upgrade his Hamas here for an AK. Perhaps waiting for the bomb to explode is his best bet. So this is going to be tied up at 10s now. Luminosity will hit the teens. Or not the teens, they'll hit the 10s. Don't want to rush it, of course. As Ethan's 23 and 12 still. Put some great counter-strike from CLG. Meanwhile, the kill spread on Luminosity is a bit more tighter. Majority of their players are playing well together. No one really standing out, just like on the CLG side. Or perhaps that's where CLG is starting to falter here on their CT side. Is they're almost a one-frag pony, where they may need Kusta to start stepping up with that op. Cutler's been very quiet this tournament thus far in their opening matches. So they need more than just Ethan, which seems to be the story for for CLG throughout a lot of their lands in online games.
Well, now, as we do jump into the 21st round, both teams in a dead heat, tied up now. The potential to break CLG is very much in front of us here for Luminosity. You can close out on this round. But with how things have been going kind of back and forth for a while, there's a pretty good possibility that CLG may upset on this one, especially with them holding more aggressive stances. Ethan, though, is going to have to spot this presence early on. As our players pushing into the box halls. Oh, man, the timing on that one. So unfortunate for Ethan. Yell moves in, instantly takes him down, and that's going to be an immediate signal for Luminosity to execute. Since CLG have usually been playing only 1 or 2 in that B site, and CLG know that they've been beaten there because of Ethan going down. They're not even going to attempt to retake this. They're all falling outside over towards T-spawn, and they're just going to call for a save here.
Yeah, they invested pretty much everything they had, CLG there. They'll get the 4-round loss, but that's such a minor victory here. I mean, you only get rewarded when you lose rounds in a row, so you can't even call it a victory. And with that finesse going down, that's utility gone, that's armor they have to rebuy. Luminosity are starting to get sharpened on the anvil. Starting to look deadly. as they get the clean openers. There's no real refrags from CLG. And I'd like to see CLG get back to that aggressive outer yard play they went for. Perhaps try to make Luminosity use more utility towards ladder. Because it's been multiple rounds now where Luminosity, as PL finds him through the smoke, that's the M4 gone, or at least one of the rifles. And Luminosity force out a pause from CLG, whose cash is very spread. I mean, Kusa can drop Ethan, Cutler can drop a rifle, and they can buy up another one, but there's a FAMAS gone. Yeah, it's a rifle.
So in case anyone's wondering why Luminosity got so happy about that final kill there, because it was only like, you know, just killing a guy while exiting. It was actually pretty significant because now it puts CLG into a bit more of a difficult scenario here in terms of buying. They can't get a perfect rebuy for everyone anymore. They are going to have like one player on a pistol or something like that. So it does put them into a pretty bad situation if they decide to force, which it does look like they ended up doing. And you'll see that in a second here. So if Cutler can buy the one rifle, that's pretty much going to be it, though, if they decide to fully buy down, which they actually don't even decide to do. They decide to pretty much just half buy and save here for the most part. So they're only going to have that one M4 and UMP sitting on Cutler and Kusta. Besides that, it's just going to be primarily pistols on this round because of that extra player dying. They could not justify the full rebuy, and immediately they go back to impacting as they're just basically going to rush outside this round.
Yeah, and it's pretty much a free site except the guy back green, and there's not much that Finesse can do. With no head armor, no utility. I mean, he has one flash and a CZ. We know how deadly the CZ is, but I guess the head armor doesn't really matter in this situation as well, but it just goes to show how little they put into it. As Ethan will find Nekas, PK to find Finesse, and this round's starting to evolve, and it just CLG getting an AK out of it. Now, CLG may even just argue committing to this. They're going to get that max loss, try to deal damage. Their economy is already so bloated with $10,000 on Yell, and only going up on everyone else. Try to deal damage. Try to do what you can. You know you're going to go buy next round. Take some risk with this AK.
The re-smoke over here inside of the Ivy tunnel, though, has pretty much killed their retake attempts. They're going to have to back out through the Ivy tunnel itself. Getting out of this fight, trying to save. Ethan will pick up one more kill on PKL, but Luminosity are swimming with so much cash at this point. That probably doesn't matter to them too much anyway here. They're sitting perfectly fine with the amount of money they have. So they'll be okay to throw away one or two lives in hopes of trying to drop CLG here and make it harder for them to rebuy into these next few rounds, which they'll still do anyway after the save coming off of the 22nd round, which means they're going to be okay to buy here. But even so, for a lot of players, this does mean buying out pretty much in its entirety, leaving them with worst $250 on FNS. But some of the other players end up with a pretty decent amount left over, so they might still be looking at some kind of half investment after this, even if they do end up losing it again. Once more, we've got a quick aggression coming out from Luminosity. They don't even expect it. Wow, great transfer from Showtime. Takes down Ricky and then flicks upwards to find FNS. He's seen Kusta now, too. He didn't realize he was there at first. In fact, I'm not even sure if he still realizes that he's here. He's going to be able to chase him to the back halls here. He kind of lost him in the smoke, and oh no, that'll be his demise. Kusta takes him out, over peaks a second later, though, and now ends up low at 15 HP. As it's just him and Ethan left standing. Luminosity, besides that, the shock value alone wins them the round, however.
I mean, that is just some brute force stuff from Luminosity running out towards the site. You mentioned it. The way Showtime was able to transfer spray from the player on the low ground to high ground was so impressive. As Luminosity will go 13, CLG. I mean, they have, one saving grace is they have Ethan on $5,700. Ricky is at 39. They will be able to buy with max loss. Not going to be so competitive on the FNS side of things. And they are not going to save anything. Ops are gone. Luminosity are so happy right now. And you can't blame them. Listen to them get into it. They have done, not only celebrating with the round win, but dropping these guns and this spray transfer was unreal. But it's, although CLG are like, well, they had money. What's the big deal? It hurts them in the long run, right? CLG win this without having those guns to have extra cash in the bank because Ricky had 9,000. And now he has to drop. It's just such a long game thing. And I wonder what the change is going to be. Kusta needs to get aggressive in my eyes. I haven't seen anything from him that's been shocking, anything crazy on this map. Mirage, he had amazing moments. Very quiet thus far when it comes to finding some kind of success rate on their CT side. Cutler, again, FNS, two guys that typically put up some decent numbers when it comes to online stuff. I understand why FNS might be a bit quiet, but I think Cutler really has to come to life now when it all matters. Keep in mind, the winner of this gets a ride right in towards the semis tomorrow. They don't have to do BL3s. Yep. So It's a big difference.
They get a nice rest for the day here to just go chill and hang out, so they'll have that secured nice and easily here. Meanwhile, for CLG, they have to stick around, wait for the other best of 3 to finish, and then grind it out. Still potentially going up against the rematch versus the Misfits if they end up coming out on top of that best of 3 versus Rise. Otherwise, of course, they'll fight Rise for the final slot that'll be available in the in the playoff bracket come tomorrow.
Well, thus far, I don't know. I'd like to see CLG do something crazy. Almost take a chance. You've been losing their typical aim duels. The executions have been in Luminosity's way. The trades, you need some kind of showstopper. Perhaps a push, a play, a flash for finesse. Something to go their way. That's PKL. We'll just stay behind the molly for now. Resmoke left side. It's looking more and more like a pinch on the A site. Blue, and there they go.
Out they go as well here with FNS. Kusta actually getting the first few kills. Nekaz trying to trade this back. It's a bit of a struggle, but he does get the second kill, equalizing it into a 3v3. The problem is Cello and some of the others are struggling to make any progress on the other portions of the site here. They're pretty much stuck inside a ladder room and T-Con. Oh, okay, there's Cello with the smoke fading away. Quickly knocks out one. Cutler is there for a trade, however, in the old bomb tunnel. And now Cutler will hold on for one more pickup. He takes down Yell, leaving this all on Nekaz to try and clutch 1v2. And he'll be found outside by Ethan, who takes it down. And finally, we have another round on the board from CLG. After so much domination from Luminosity, CLG strike back, and they'll try to keep this close.
Losing 3 members means the guys that stayed alive need to drop 2 weapons. If the CLG get reset in this round, this is the round to determine who wins this match. If CLG get reset here, granted they did win with all USPs, didn't they? It's just in the previous map. But that aside, this is a new BO1. If CLG loses this round, it's a reset back down to 1400. They'll be broke, they'll have nothing, and it is expensive as Luminosity are not letting up.
See here, Nekaz is trying to push himself forward into a position where he can frag out, but this very aggressive play style just seems like it's not working anymore. CLG has finally been able to iron this down and stop it, as they seem unstoppable in this round here. We can see none of their players have gone down yet. Meanwhile, Luminosity have lost 3 out of 5 of their own. PKL trying to trade, but no, denied again. This time by Kusta from up in heaven. Yell is left as the last man standing. He's even going to have to deal with a flank here coming in from FNS. He can't even stop that. FNS takes him down. Perfect round from CLG.
Right when they needed to be flawless, they pull it off. And now they put Luminosity in an awkward spot. Granted, 12 grand on Cello, he'll drop Showtime, he'll drop Nekaz, and they will be safe in that regard. But it is now coming down to the wire, and Luminosity realize they're not as safe as perhaps they once were. With these quick plays, now getting locked down from CLG, who have had utility properly used. They've been flashing for each other, great counter flashes, and starting to catch Luminosity off guard. And as the pause breaks, you'll see both teams will get everything on the board. It'll be another action-packed round, but I imagine Luminosity will go back towards that default, back towards playing the pick game, getting that man advantage, and going off of that. But that requires Yell to be very careful of how he decides to go about this.
Luminosity will keep their players very, very disjointed here at the opening of the round. Again, playing into essentially just a T default. CLG doing something very similar, but they do end up committing a second player towards the inner sight, instead of just having the one anchor play towards it here. And Cello knows he sees Kusta on the upper area, but still decides to directly peek into him anyway. You can even see a little bit of pre-fire coming out from Cello, so not the best decision to try and directly peek into that. It essentially just gives his life away. And now that's going to mean that Luminosity can quickly swing back in. Oh, wow, Nekaz. Beautiful reaction there to take down Ethan. Instantly headshots him, and he was dead to rights there, it seemed anyway. So Nekaz just barely holding on, gets that kill. He's trying to distract so that they can execute towards the outer sight, but it's not working so well. FNS still has that aggressive push inside a ladder. He was already able to take one player down here, and the players at T-Con are making no momentum at all. They're basically just stuck near the initial trains here. So without anything significant happening in that site, it has pretty much killed Luminosity's chances for a win here, especially with these last 2 players being split up so much.
The round leans on Nekaz, but look how passive CLG are being, realizing this may happen. Nekaz spots one when he jumps around, but doesn't won't expect 2 to be there as it's Yell. 1v4. Not going to happen if he does. You certainly will hear a holler as he almost hits that shot.
Now he's going to get pushed. They know he's missed the shot. Oh no, but FNS
they almost lined up for him there for a second at the back train.
He definitely had a chance to win that. I think the missed shot onto the player at E-Box, I believe that was FNS, pretty much seals the deal.
He did a great job,
CLG.
by the way. Finesse. In ladder, not only did he stay alive, but he got some great timing. He stopped the CCOM players from getting out, so the B fake was completely spoiled. I think Finesse really won CLG that round.
Well, with him doing that, that has tied us back up now at 13-all. Neither team having a good enough advantage to play off of here. And more importantly, Luminosity's economy being broken, which means CLG now have that opportunity once more to take the lead away. As this game has gone back and forth and now back again into the hands of CLG, assuming, of course, that they don't get upset on this round.
See if NA can close out a match. Seems to be a rough spot for us. With CSG on the brink of 14. And their horizon is 15 as Yell.
Unfortunate.
Nade and Amali add up together. 100 HP gone. Ricky catches Nekaz in this round. It's going as Luminosity expected. They didn't have any high hopes into it, and rightfully so. As I said, CLG will get 14, Luminosity.
Gale spams in and takes down one player, but that's been it so far. Just left to Showtime here now in a 1v4. Pretty much impossible. He's already low at 17 HP too. Tries to line up the shot on Cutler, but can't make it happen. Cutler takes him down, so that's CLG up and ahead now, 14-13. 2 more, and they'll secure this map. But for Luminosity, after that singular save, they're right back into the bye themselves. Neither team hasn't finished fighting just yet.
No. The war has nearly come to an end, so these battles are few and far in between, and they have greater importance to who will win it. And CLG will still keep rocking this double up. Luminosity will not have that, which may tempt them to change the pace a bit, but no. At the beginning of the round, they will do their typical default. That player in T-Con, lucky to be alive. As Kusta, perfect flash from Luminosity. They just simply can't take advantage of it to its fullest. As Kusta was able to get behind the wall. At least Luminosity have that info now that Kusta's there. Or at least an Opera has been hanging out there. And they'll go back to try to get their ladder room control. A lot of success in doing this lately. But CLG are getting aggressive and they'll counter molly it.
So they will get downstairs and get that control, but you can see not only will they counter molly it for CLG, they're also going to put players right outside of it, potentially inside of it too. And yes, Ethan takes down both the players pushing in. He's able to knock them out. If an FNS lining up more of them too as they try to push outside of T-Con. Finds one, does good damage to his second. Okay, should be able to spam right in there, and he lines up the shot to take down Showtime. Now it's down to Yell. He's got a minute left, but he's in a 1v5.
So much for Yell to do. I mean, this would be an insane 1v5, and it's not even going to happen. They don't even have time to talk it up. Shut down from Kusta. CLG 1 round away from moving to the semis tomorrow, and they'll avoid BO3s, which famously haunt this roster and the org in general. So this would be big for them to just get that clean slate, clean ride into the semis, as his double op has just been deadly. It's been Kusta now, finally finding some rhythm, but you still have to go Ethan, who's played nuts. Kusta's been there with him, but Ethan dropping 30 frags. He's certainly up there. As Luminosity are going to put more pressure towards Ivy Ricky, a man who we haven't talked much about or seen so much action from him, is ready to just smack down Luminosity at a moment's notice.
Flashes trying to push Ricky off at this point over here. Luminosity are going to attempt something different this time, as Ricky's going to be probably the most important player in this round right here, with a 3-man stack going over here towards Ivy. That's going to be a lot of presence that CLG will need to hold inside of this, or excuse me, no, a 4-man stack over towards Ivy. I actually missed the 4th player. So they have pretty much everyone here except for Showtime, who is going to try to push down a separate angle.
Ethan will stay there. That's a CLG molly, which allows Ricky to repeat this. Can't hit the shot. Now they're going to push him.
Oh, no.
Gets caught with a smoke. His hand. Wow. How does he get away with that? And he's going to stay aggressive. Nearly gets a second, but it's Nekaz to try to reel it back, as there's so much on the line. And it would be a big catch, Luminosity, if they can stay into this game, but it's a 3v3. And CLG have such a good read.
CLG need to be careful here, though. They could overextend and give away too many players here. Oh, Ethan, he's going to be able to spot Showtime. Just barely catches his head before he can fall back into a safer angle up on top of ladder there. Now Luminosity, they're going to try to crawl past. Oh, they spot the foot of Cutler. They're going to spam into it, though, but it doesn't completely take him down. Now they rush forward. Kusta's got to be careful with that kind of a peek there. Moves out, shuts down Cello. One remains. It's PKL trying to clutch.
Oh.
He's picked up 2 kills, though, and now has brought it down to a 1v1, eliminating both of the guys over by ladder room.
Get bomb.
10 seconds left to planet here, too. The good news is, though, is that Kusta's backed away, completely out of this fight, completely back towards Z, but he'll now move forward with the plant going in. PKL needs to shut it down now, and he does it! Instantly headshots Kusta. The big 1v3 clutch from PKL to around to a 4K in the round, and it takes us all the way to number 30 to decide it all.
You have to think that's some overcommitment from those CLG members to peek PKL towards New Hell, and he is just allowed to tap them as Kusta just oversteps just by a little bit, and PKL jumps up, given time to find the shot. And it is a well-placed pause as Ethan realizes, yeah, we should take a breather. We should probably talk things through. Both teams, of course, will have the full buys. As actually, Luminosity's buy might not be the strongest here.
They should be pretty okay. It's not going to be amazing, but it should be enough to win a round.
It's a CZ. It's a UMP. Not as comfortable as CLG's, of course.
No, CLG obviously has the full buy to work off of here. I'm actually surprised considering how many rounds straight that was for CLG, or excuse me, for CLG that they didn't manage to get, or excuse me, for Luminosity there. How dominantly they took that round, but they weren't able to get at least a little bit of a stronger buy. So they're going to end up pretty lackluster purchase here. That'll make it stronger for CLG to at least try and close it on this round. Ricky just wants to get rid of the molly so we can keep vision on the back halls, and that's actually a pretty good move. It's still going to be very risky, however. But this molly, let's see, is it going to send Luminosity the other way? They're thinking about it. They have 4 players back here, though. So they have to commit to this in some way, shape, or form. The flashbang is going to make Ricky think twice about maybe backing up there. We can see the molly going over to the back of the brown halls here as well. And now Luminosity sits poised to strike. CLG has already noticed something's amiss with no actual aggressive presence being thrown to the outer side at all. They've already rotated Cutler over. Finesse is also on the way through Z.
It's a double fake.
Oh, Ricky legs neck is here too. He's going to be able to find them trying to creep down. They don't know exactly how strong the presence is towards either side just yet, and that's the only thing holding those A players back. Now they're going to quickly go back down. They don't have a lot of utility in order to execute this with, and Cello's going to be spotted. He dies first. Cutler is the one to take him down. Showtime trades that, but Rickey's still here. The bomb quickly gets planted. They want to rush this plant situation. Rickey spots him on the other side. A fast headshot too. Clotheslines PKL down to the ground. He sees the shadow of Showtime, and another nice shot. It won't be a headshot, but a body shot is enough in this case to knock him out of the round. That puts all the pressure on the Yell to clutch 1v3, and he won't even get close. Finesse moves him from the back flank, shuts him down, and it's going to be CLG that take control, 16-14. They'll take this best of 1, moving on into the winners bracket semifinals of the playoff bracket tomorrow. And for LG, well, they're going to have to go down to the lower bracket to face off against either Rise or the Misfits, pending the result, of course, of that other best of 3.
That's a big win for CLG. You know they'd be disappointed if they dropped in towards that lower bracket and had to play BO3s. Certainly was not on their radar. Luminosity, you really have to give them credit where credit's due. I think what won CLG this game is picking up their CT side pistol helps, and their big T side. Getting as many rounds as they did on the T side, as close as this game was, if they don't get as